What's going on, everybody? My name is Tamar Turner, and I'm the host of the Down to Business podcast, where the mission is to really provide exposure to businesses, entrepreneurs, and artists all around the world in their respective crafts. And we do so through audio and visual interviews where we come on and we talk about all things from getting into the business to most memorable moments to even some advice that you may give for other business owners and entrepreneurs out there. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, we'd love to have you on for an interview. Please be sure to reach out via any social media platform and we'll definitely get back to you. But until then, enjoy this episode. What's going on, everybody? I'd just like to welcome you back to another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner. And I really want to start this episode by shouting out my man, Hugo V. So Hugo was somebody who I brought on for episode 42, A Foundation of Trust. And we basically just talked about, his background, his journey to basically go into almost what seemed like place to get recovery, a place to, really help himself and kind of shift his life. And then he ended up not only shifting his life, shifting his perspective, but doing so in a way where he was able to then go on and impact others. So I definitely do encourage you guys to check out Hugo's episode. As I said, episode 42, he's been great ever since, we came on. He's really been sending me a lot of recommendations. And that's actually why I'm so excited for this episode, because this was another one of his recommendations. And I would also say, if you have not checked out episode 51, A Preventative Measure, where we talked about the pocket with my man, Brian, I definitely would say check that out because he came way of Hugo and he did not disappoint. So really excited to be sitting down today with Tahirah, or Miss T as a lot of you know her as, really just to talk about everything that she has going on. I've definitely been checking out her content since I was able to get connected with her, and I'm excited to sit down with her, excited to hear what she has to offer to the people, and then excited to be able to connect with her moving forward. So Miss T, how you doing today?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I can never complain. So, for everybody out there all around the world tapping in, for people who may know you, for people who may not know you, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and then what brings you on the podcast today?
Yeah, for sure. Well, my name is Tahirah. Everyone calls me Miss T for short. That's kind of where I started all this crazy creative stuff and really putting myself out there with Miss T. I needed like a tagline, so I used Miss T. But I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. That's right outside of Philadelphia. So I just tell people I'm from Philly, and they're like, "Oh, okay, I know where that is." If I tell anyone Bucks County, they have no clue. But I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, born and raised. I was adopted, and my life has taken many turns, but through being adopted, I have learned so much and I experienced so much, and I'm just so excited to be on this podcast with you today.
Absolutely. You actually took me back a little bit when you said Bucks County. I don't think I've been to Bucks County ever since we played them when I was playing pound ball. I used to play for the Wildcats, West Oak Lane. So, yeah, so coming from Philly, we played like Bucks County, Warrington, Norristown. So, like everybody like that. So, yeah. But definitely, a good kind of alternate position when you say Philadelphia. So, but I like that. I like that, your experiences thus far has really shaped who you are as an individual, has really shaped, your learning, how you even project that onto others and kind of what others can see from you and what you do. So can you just give us a little dive into, some of the experiences that you've had up until this point in your life that have really, not only propelled you, not only motivated you, but have taught you life lessons and have really brought you to the Miss T that we're sitting down and talking with today?
Yeah, for sure. So, it definitely goes back. I guess we'll take it all the way back to when I got my driver's license and keys to my car at like half of being 15 years old. So in the suburbs, right, you can get your license and you can just get your license when you're 15 and a half. So I've had my license for a really long time and I've had keys to a car for a really long time. And that was already a level up from a lot of my friends who were city bound, or just parents were like, yeah, no, this child ain't about to be driving at 15. So with that already was an experience. That was my first little big experience on top of all my friends, where so I had a car and I was able to really see the world at a really young age from a different perspective. Being young and being able to do things that adults do, it's very different because people always look at you like you're too young for this, or you don't understand what's going on, or whatever, you're just not, you shouldn't be in this lane right now because you're too young. So with having that car and having those keys, I really got to go to places that I've been to with my mom, or go to places that I've always been wanting to go to with my mother. I mean, without her. And that's what I did. So I started to like gradually find out things about my life, which was pretty intense. So with that, like with me saying that, as I got older and had the keys to my car, I was able to figure out who was who in my family. The way I was raised, I wasn't really, I don't know how my adoption was set up, but I do know that the other side of my family was right down the street, but the family I was brought up with didn't really want me to know who they were. So it was like with this car, I literally got to do my own investigating. I got to meet my own family and friends who I didn't ever know about, or we would just meet through the internet or who knows. And, that was the first real big, like, getting out of the little kiddie person that I was to like the young adult that I was becoming, and learning who I really am and really getting like a grasp on what this whole adoption thing was all about. I told myself when I like was able to really think at like a certain level, I was just like, I'm going to do everything inside of me to find out who my real family is. Like, I'm the second oldest of seven. So when I knew that, I just was like, oh yeah, it's on and popping from here. Like, there's no way I'm about to live this life without knowing my brothers and sisters, regardless of who wanted me to know or not. So that right there alone, 15, 16, that was already a lot. But obviously my mother, who took care of me and didn't birth me, she didn't like that idea. But other than that, she didn't really do too much to hold me away from it as I had my keys to my car, because she was like, my daughter's going to run into many, many, many different situations, especially living in Bucks County and my family still being in Bucks County. So she kind of just let me, go with the flow, and she trusted my instincts and my intuition and just everything that I was about, and how she raised me to take it slowly and figure out who needed to be in my life and who didn't need to be in my life and why. So that's pretty much like one of the first real experiences that I've really had in my life to help me mold the way that I am today, which is just like super out there, super outgoing, extremely adventurous, very passionate about who's in my family and why they're around, and who I can keep around still. So that's pretty much my first full experience at life. And everything else just trickles down from there. And everything else just honestly like adds on to that, which is pretty cool.
Honestly, I think pretty cool might be an understatement. Just in hearing that story, that flashback really from start to finish is just like, wow. It's always interesting, just when people are passionate about things, when people are, like you said, adventurous, outgoing, just wanting to do certain things. But it's really even more interesting. And it really, I love to hear, just when you hear how that all started, what it all came from, because everybody goes through different things in life. Everybody has different experiences. Everybody has different events that, shape them, make them, break them, mold them, as you said, into the person that they are, into the person that they become, into just learning what works for them, into learning what didn't work, what they like, what didn't like, and sometimes even influenced by other people, whether it be friends, family, strangers, co-workers, whatever have you. So I really just love, to hear that story for you, and how you really, just like you said, once you found out and once you kind of had the opportunity and the experience to go out on your own, I think you really just put every foot forward and really just made it happen. And I love that. And I love that it's really gotten you to this point, and it's only even going to propel you, just in hearing how passionate you are, just in hearing how involved you are. And so involvement is definitely something that really interests me about you, just in going through your page and going through your website and going through your content and seeing that, you have a podcast page, you have an events page, you have an edits page, you have a YouTube channel. So how has Miss T, how have you really come to construct all of this, and how have you really managed to stay consistent with it, and how have you really managed to keep it all going throughout everything that you've also been going through in your life as well?
Woo, that is intense. I'm super happy that you're into just the whole manifestation of Miss T and Tahirah, because it's definitely two sides. It's like the growing up, the growth side, and then the like planting the like real seeds that need to be planted, and taking everything that I learned and just really, 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 really going full force at it with Tahirah. But Miss T events. So my mother who raised me, she was all about me. You know, her life pretty much revolved around me. She couldn't have kids, so she adopted me, and she revolved everything around me besides going to work every single day at her hospital, like over 35 years in. But other than that, watching the way that she was very intense, because she never got into a relationship before she passed away while I was alive. So from 6 months to the age of 21, I never, ever, ever seen her with a man. So I've only seen her, literally, I've only seen her focused and determined and inspired and a workaholic, literally all the characteristics you probably want in a female, I literally have seen. And that's what I thought I had to have in me. So with her taking me everywhere and being able to do all different types of things in this world that 15-year-olds can't do, 16-year-olds never get a chance to do, 17-year-old, you know, all the way up to being like 20, you know, going on all these vacations, traveling the world, anything that I wanted to do, it happened. So I never was really told no, unless it was like something negative, but I wasn't that type of kid anyway. So I was always just like, yeah, can I do this? Can I try this? Like this. It did not matter. Like she let it go. She let it happen regardless. And, you know, the first event that my mom took me to that really caught my attention was Lion King on Broadway. So Lion King on Broadway, I was like 17 years old, and the whole show, mind you, Lion King on Broadway was like one of like the biggest things out at that time. And my mom was so hyped to take me, right? I was so hyped to go. But the kicker was when I got there and the show started, why was I not paying attention to the show? I literally didn't pay attention to the show at all. I remember the show because we went like 3, 4, 5 times, but every single time I was more into how the show was being created, how it was being put on. I was worrying about the ushers. I was worrying about the ticket people. I was worrying about like how they were getting dressed. Like I literally was talking to my mom about every single thing besides the show in front of our face. And she was like, what is your problem? Like, why aren't you paying attention? I'm like, because whatever they're doing in the back, like I'm more so into how they're getting you like everything together to show us the final product. Like, what do you mean, mom? Like, what? And she was always like, girl, like, pay attention. I'm like, I am paying attention. So it's like, I noticed right then and there, I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm so much more into coordinating and like the design and the strategicness and all that. Like I realized that, oh, okay, I'm definitely someone who's going to be putting things together, because it like, oh, like even talking about it, it makes me feel so good. It's so crazy. So right then and there, Lion King on Broadway in Philadelphia downtown, that's when I found out, oh yeah, I'm about to be Miss T, because like what? I could be doing this myself. I can have my own Broadway shows. I can have my own concerts. I can have my own everything. And so little by little, that was like cultivating over time, because I was playing AAU basketball since I was 9 years old. So my life was eat, sleep, breathe, bathe basketball. Okay. So my whole life I played basketball. But in between those times, I still was doing little things that I like to do. Planning my friends and aunts and uncles' little birthday parties, giving them ideas, telling people where they should go on vacations. Like, oh, basically everything that I did, I would like figure out how I can dissect all of it and then get down to the nitty gritty of everything and then do it myself so that I can be like, oh yeah, like Miss T did it. And it's just really intense. And that's how it started. And then when my mom passed away, I kind of went super saiyan and and literally just tried a lot of things, real estate on both ends, me being a homeowner and me buying and flipping, me renovating, all that, me starting my own events, really starting my own events in Philadelphia, and really like getting people's money and setting up stages and lights and photographers, videographers, like vendors, the bar, the DJ. Like I really got into it. I just needed to see how it felt. And then that went to me starting a foundation to help people who went through what I went through, the tragic situation of my mom passing away. And I wanted to tap into that. So I tapped into that. So it's like literally anything that I feel like doing, I literally try. Also, coaching AAU basketball, I did that for 5 years. It was the best experience of my life, an introduction to helping younger kids. And then I was like, oh yeah, I can do this young kid stuff. Like, so all different things, like all different experiences, I had to tap into a different age group and a different just spectrum of thinking. And I don't know. I'm just like, I just really love people and what they do and how they can be put into different places and just, explode. And I just like being the master who just likes to put everybody in their place. So, yeah.
Wow. I like that. So I'm really just gonna backtrack but go through kind of everything that stood out to me and everything that really, resonated a lot with me. So the fact that, growing up, you were really in tune to the behind the scenes, the production, what really made everything of a show, and not necessarily to take away from the show itself, or because like you said, Lion King on Broadway, yeah, that was the one that was talked about for years on years, even after it happens, even something now that, yeah, as you kind of say it back, I can just remember that time, just remember, when it was going on, just remember the hype that it got, just remember even some of the reviews that it got from people who I knew that attended and went there. So, but the fact that, it's even more interesting to me that you love the production side, just because when I went to grad school, and then when I would even say some of my undergrad as well, but I would really say grad school was really when that stuck out for me, really just being behind the scenes, really just taking on different roles when it came to newscasts, when it came to like sportscasts, when it came to even some of my shows and things like that. But the fact that you had that at such a young age, the fact that you really paid attention to a lot of those different elements, that's interesting. And that really just goes to show you how your mind was working, but wandering, but also exploring, and then also trying to capitalize. And then definitely want to extend my condolences to you, and my condolences to everybody within your foundation who's been able to benefit from that. But I love that. And as someone who lost their mom as well, and someone who feels as though after that kind of moment in time, though, I would definitely say Super Saiyan is a great term to use. It just felt like, it upped my involvement a lot more. It upped my exploration, it upped my motivation, all of that. Like you really, like you said, you really were not allowing yourself to be held back. And I think that that's so important, especially after such a monumental moment in your life, because that can be something that really, allows you to take a turn for the worse sometimes. It's something that you've never experienced before. So the fact that, you even turn that into a positive and are really allowing it to even benefit others, because everybody can't handle things the same way, So the fact that you started that foundation, the fact that you're giving back to others and really just making that impact in life, I love to hear that. But it also even goes to speak how you being in Philadelphia, you being in Bucks County, you recognize that you had surroundings around you. You recognize that you had resources around you, and you're really using those wisely and effectively. You're really, like you said, bringing people together with the events, matching here and here, plugging people in, allowing for networking opportunities, and allowing them to not only do what they do and do their craft, but you put it all together. And then and you give different reviews, different experiences for other people. So I definitely think that that's much needed. It's very impressive. And like I said, I'm really excited to see what really comes from this and what really other ventures that you continue to kind of adopt and adapt. So of everything that you're involved in, of everything that you've done so far, of everything that you even kind of want to get into moving forward, is there anything that's really a favorite of yours? Is there anything that you really love to do, or do you really kind of just expel a different type of energy into each one? So it's kind of just a different love and a different passion when it comes to each thing.
That's a great question. And yeah, losing a parent is, all I'm going to say is it's something that we all have to go through. And we just all go through it at a different time, and it's okay. So yes, that's all about 11:11. But with every little thing that I do, honestly, I'm like really passionate about things. So if I say I'm going to do it, I'm definitely doing it. It doesn't matter the timing that I do it, it's still going to get done. So I definitely feel like I put 110% into every avenue that I try to like really plant. Every seed that I really try to plant out here, I really just try to put my all into it, because I know people are watching, and I know for a fact that the younger generation is watching me. With them asking me questions about little random things, that just right there already by like it's already achieved. I'm already achieving what I want, and that's to help the next person. And that's just all the next person who really cares about what I'm doing, because there's a big difference. But you can tell the difference within your intuition on who cares and who doesn't care. So every single avenue is like key for me. But, when I met my first angel investor, that was when I really realized what I'm doing really does matter, and my ideas really make sense. And it's not that me asking other people, does this make sense? Can we do this? Do blah blah blah. It was really the fact that somebody who has already made millions of dollars has said to me, "Wow, all of your business plans are written out so well that you would think that you've been in business for over 30 years." And it like literally took me back, and I'm like, whoa, like that's how in depth I go with things. And I'm like, maybe I need to chill, or maybe I need to. And they're like, no, you don't have to chill. It's just that you know exactly what you want, and you have built a pathway to get there already. So the only thing that you have to do is really focus in, and keep on keeping on. That's pretty much it. So with having angel investors, it's 2021, and this is my first time ever having two angel investors like within my circle, helping me, guiding me, and just really motivating me to stay the course that I already have created for myself. And man, those two people, just the fact that they're people who have already done plenty of business plans and have put forth plenty of money to whatever, and has done plenty of philanthropy within their community, is like, it just gave me like the like pat on the back to like just keep on going and just keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is not wrong. You just have to keep staying focused. So yeah.
Love the ending to that. What you're doing is not wrong. You just have to stay focused. And I think sometimes it's necessary just to really realize that, just to really hear that, just to even think about that. That sometimes when things are not going our way, when we may fail at something, when we may run into what at the time is really just a bump in the road, an obstacle, a trial or a tribulation, and we may just want to have the urge to give it all up, to really just call it quits, to really just, it takes away a sense of motivation sometimes. But realize, that that's natural, that's a part of life. It's definitely a part of the process. So it's not wrong. You just have to keep that consistency, keep that persistence as well, just because it's always going to be easier said than done, or easier written down than done, or somebody can always give you, words of wisdom or words of encouragement. But until you're actually in those trenches, until you're actually, fighting day by day, you won't really know, and you won't really know what to do as a response to that. So no, you're definitely right about that. But I love that. I really think from the time I hit play on this interview that I really just heard the passion in everything that you do and everything that you involve yourself in and everything that you've come to be with Miss T, and just how creative you are, how your mind really works and flows, and how you not only want to, communicate that to others, but really just serve as a resource, serve as an outlet for others who may have trouble getting into that field, embracing that space. And I really just love to hear that. It's just so motivational for me. So something that really, really, really stuck out for me just in going through your page and seeing the content and everything is that you have a podcast. So can you just tell us about the Daily Tea with Miss T podcast and really how that got started and what you talk about? And I really even encourage a lot of my listeners to definitely tap in with it, because I've heard a couple of episodes and I love it so far. So yeah, what was that process really like for you getting started, and really what are some of the things that you've addressed and talked about thus far?
Yes, so Daily Tea with Miss T. Oh my gosh. So I'm very, very, very big on Gary Vee. And Gary Vee does one thing really, really well, and that's pretty much he separates himself from the noise, and he just gives you exactly what you need to hear. And I'm like, I love that. That's exactly what I want to do. So I said, you know what? Oh, and also he introduced Anchor, and Anchor is free and it uploads all your podcasts to every single podcast platform out there. So when he said free, I said, oh yeah, that's me. Let me try this out. So I said, it's going to be Daily Tea with Miss T, obviously, because Gary Vee has Daily Gary Vee, something like that. So I was like, yeah, let me use this because it rhymes, it rolls off the tongue, and it's like a nice little, it's like a nice title. So I downloaded the app. I did my first segment and it was so horrible. And I'm like, all right, I got to keep practicing it. And I kept practicing. And it was just like, no, these are bad. And they were bad because I was trying so hard. Like I was trying way harder than I needed to. I literally just needed to talk. Like how we're doing this podcast, that's all I needed to do. So I deleted all the segments that I had. So I re-recorded my first episode and I was like, you know what, I got this. And I just pressed play and record, and I just let it roll. And I just started talking and everything just started flowing. I'm like, oh, all right. So it's like a conversation like that's like in my head, but I'm saying it out loud to people. And then I know they're going to, feel what I'm saying, because it's not like what I'm saying just never makes sense. So I launched that first podcast and I was like, all right, let's do this. And I had such a crazy momentum. So I wrote everything out and I just started going with the flow, and it was making sense. And my listing, like everything I wrote down, I was just following it. So it started flowing. And then obviously being in a relationship, I let my relationship kind of like come in the way of like my podcast, because with the podcast, it's like you get this momentum and then out of nowhere, it's either you get like a lazy phase or it's like you get discouraged, or I don't really know. But a lot of people, it happens to a lot of people. But with this podcast, I literally was like, I want to tap into all different. I just want to tap into what I want to tap into. I listen to podcasts every single morning, and I'm like, I know that I can put some good motivational word into people at any time of day, since the podcast just stay up there. And I just started really talking to people, telling people whatever was on my mind through the podcast. And it was helping me get through my relationship. It was helping me get through crazy situations in my relationship just by me talking on my podcast. It was like a meditation type thing that I definitely love. But yeah, other than that, Daily Tea with Miss T is, I'm back. I'm back at it. And I'm way, way, way more experienced than I was when I started it. So I'm even more excited to get back into the flow of talking on my podcast and giving out great advice, because I have crossed the street. So I do know what it feels like to be in a lot of situations at a young age and failing a lot of times. So with this podcast, people are going to be able to listen to things that I've been through and then take things and just do things how they want to do it based off of how I told them I went through it. And that's literally what Daily Tea with Miss T is all about. And I talk about everything. There's not one thing I don't talk about. So I do not hold anything back at all. And that's just what a podcast should all be about, period, is being yourself, telling your truths, and letting people know how you failed things and how you can get over it, or how you got over it, or how you didn't get over it, whatever. But being true is like the key to having a podcast.
That's nothing but facts. And you even put me on some information a little bit. It's funny, we both got drawn into Anchor from the same exact thing. Once I saw free, I was like, well, look, sign me up. That was how I actually, and to this day, still use, to promote my podcast. I found it really convenient that it distributes it to everything for you. So the Spotify, the Google podcast, the Apple podcast, you really don't have to do any work. So I love that. But I didn't know Gary Vee was directly involved with that. But that's what's up. But I definitely do love the message that he puts out sometimes. It's the real, the raw, the uncut. And you really make a great point when you say that. That's what a podcast should be all about, when you really just took the time to hone in and say, look, just talk. This is really just me. Just be open, just be honest, just be myself. I don't have to, fake it till I make it for anyone. It's really just I can adapt as I go. But it's always interesting when I talk to other podcasters, or even just listen to, the famous podcasters now, and how they always talk about their beginning and how we all share the same sentiment of really just feeling like we were doing too much in the beginning, or we listen back to the first couple of ones and we're just like, wow, this was really bad, or I could have did this and I could have did that. But I really think that's the beauty of progression. While, I was even uploading my first couple of episodes on YouTube, and I was like, wow. And now I'm listening to like my 40 episodes and my 50 episodes, and I'm just like, dang, I definitely came a long way. But it definitely goes to show you, how you get better, how different guests, different experiences may bring out different things out of you. So I love that. And I'm definitely going to continue to tap in. But like I said, I definitely encourage all my listeners here, definitely go check out the Daily Tea with Miss T. If the name itself doesn't draw you in, I don't really know what much more you need to go tap into. And not for real. Like when I saw that in the bio, I said, look, I gotta go tap in. And it's just funny because whenever I'm listening to other podcasters, or whenever I'm in these different like seminars or on these different conference calls, that's one thing that they really talk about. They talk about your name. Is your name, it's not doing too much, but it's communicating a message. It's not doing too much, but it's drawing people in. A name is only something that people get to read. So, you can't take up too many characters, or else you're going to kind of lose people or draw people away. But is your name kind of catchy? Is it something like that? So Miss T definitely got it down packed. So definitely go check that out. So with everything that with everything that we've discussed today, with everything, that you have going on, with everything that you're even to get into as the year kind of progresses, and we even look into next year as well, is there anything that you feel like we haven't touched on today on the Down to Business podcast that, you want people to know about, or even a message that you want to leave for others out there who may be in similar shoes and similar situations as you?
Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, I've noticed that a lot of people haven't tapped into their self. And that is a really big part of growth in business, is just understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, and, the things that you like and the things that you don't like. I just have seen a lot of people force so much on them because they need money. Excuse me. And it's just like, you don't have to force anything on you at all. If it doesn't come naturally to you, which is so much like, it's weird when people say that, like, oh, if it doesn't come natural to you, then it's not what you like. But it's just like, you know what you like and you know what you don't like. And if you see the other person doing something, that doesn't mean that you have to try that. You literally can try the complete opposite of what they're doing, and you probably will be in love with it. But the point of it is to actually try, and not to just like go all into something because you already see someone else's achievements out of it. It's really like, if that ain't for you, it ain't for you. Or if it's for you, it's for you. And you really will know that deep down inside, because your intuition is real. And that just goes back to knowing yourself and really knowing what you like and what you don't like. Which is totally fine if you don't know anything about yourself, but that just shows you that you have to learn who you are first before you can ever put anything out into this world for someone else to, feed on and take advice from or whatever. Like, I just noticed that a lot of people aren't in love with themselves, and I really want them to be. So, yeah, I just feel like people really need to tap into who they really are and not worry about what anyone says out there, because that's the point of growth, is you have to have the hate and you have to have the love. Because if you don't, if you just have love all the time, you're never going to know where your downfalls are. You're never going to know. If everyone hates your stuff, you ain't never going to know like what people like, because you don't switch it up. So, you have to learn who you are, and you have to love yourself enough to be able to do something different every single day.
Whew. Yeah, that's the one, the two, and the three, y'all. I can't put it any better myself. Honestly, that's really, she took almost every single word I had and put it down just like that. But really, nothing but truth, nothing but facts. And it's not always going to happen overnight. It's definitely things that we have to work at. It's definitely things that over time we learn about
Right.
ourselves, we grow, and we go through just the same. But it's not to say that it's not possible. It's not to say that it's not achievable. With patience, with persistence, with consistency. Those words always circle back because they mean so much. They hold so much weight. So I definitely do appreciate you, Miss T, for not only, sharing this space with me today, being transparent with everybody out there, but really just everything that you're doing, everything that you're going to continue to do moving forward. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Definitely excited for it. Definitely can't wait to even tap in and follow up with you moving forward in the future, and hopefully even get you connected with some of my people hearing this interview today, just some of my people, even after we post and publish. I'm definitely hoping that we can get y'all in contact and everything like that. So before we officially close out, can you just tell everybody out there where they could find you and tap in with you on social media, if they just want to continue to follow the story, follow the journey, and also, even utilize some of your services?
Yeah, for sure. So they can definitely tap in with me personally on my Instagram page. I just changed my name to Tahirah underscore the underscore goddess. So TAHIRAH underscore THE underscore GODDESS. And if you want to follow my foundation, that's 1111 ELEVAN, the number 11 foundation. We're on Instagram and we're on TikTok, and I do have a website as well. And then my social media agency is called T Fresh Edits. I pretty much do everything for businesses that has to do with being online, as far as putting you on Google, making sure you're embedded within the algorithm with your websites or your social media platforms, or just anything, SEO, coding. I'm pretty much a nerd on with 2 feet, just walking around this earth, which is pretty cool. But T Fresh Edits. And also I do printing, I ship, and I do custom designs. So like business cards, flyers, magnets, banners, all that good stuff. We do it here, and we're partnered with GoDaddy, we're partnered with WordPress, and we're partnered with Shopify. So if you need any business services, tfreshedits.com is definitely the place to go. And we're on TikTok, and we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram. And then Miss T Events. So Miss T Events, I'm launching my website for Miss T Events at the end of this year. It's pretty much like a monster. Literally any type of event that you could think of, you can create through my website with add-ons and all this crazy, amazing stuff that I put in there. It's basically like a Disney World, but online. And you can just pick your experience that you want to experience. And even though I'm moving from Philadelphia to Georgia, it still doesn't matter, because there's always something that you can do somewhere, and we always can help you put it together. It's really hard to put events together when you really just want to go to the event and not put it together. So we're like, Miss T Events is definitely that business that can help you cultivate that idea that you want. And then I have a little part of my business called Intimate Impressions. So that's like ranging from 2 people to 50 people max, of just like pure like special events. So any type of intimate adventure you want to create for you and your partner, or you and a group of people, we definitely got that handle as well. So that's something that Miss T Events is definitely going to be promoting very heavily in Georgia in the next few months. But 1111, Tea Fresh Edits, Miss T events. Those are like my main three babies right there. And my last thing I want people to know about is something that I created just from always being awake. Because one thing I don't do is sleep. Sleep is definitely for billionaires. Just want to put that side note out there. And I ain't there yet, but I'm getting there. And so it's called Money Making Owls. And this is a service that I'm about to put out there. And it's going to be a 24-hour service for small businesses that that need to get work done, but over like at the times that people are asleep. So there's people who come to me and they're like, can you help me get a job, or can you help me do this? And I'll ask them, what's your expertise? And then they'll be like, I do this, or I know how to do this, or I do this as a hobby. And I'm like, really? So I just jot down a lot of things that people do as an extracurricular. And I'm like, okay, well, this might as well be something that a job people can do for people if they need it. So that's what the Money Making Owls is about. It's about making money in your sleep. And anyone could do that as long as you have the right things on autopilot. So that's exactly what's coming. It's a lookout for moneymakingowls.com. It's going to be a group of people who just like to work, who don't really sleep, and they just have crafts that they just want to, put out into the world and help other people, whether it's bookkeeping, whether it's who knows, honestly, because every business needs so many little random things done. And if you can get it done overnight, why not get it done overnight for a fraction of the cost you'll pay getting it done during the day? So all those little things are like businesses that I'm focused on, I'm like tuned into, and yeah. Oh, and real estate, of course. That's like the ultimate everyday thing. I help people. I'm a project manager for a couple of my investors, and I help put ideas into their into their buildings that they put millions of dollars into. So that's pretty cool as well. My mind's pretty like expanded. So I kind of have no limit as to anything that I do. So I pretty much just like give people these crazy business plans, and they just take out of it like what they like and what they don't like. And it's just cool because I'm always going to be a piece of people's pie. And I just love that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was over here running out of space trying to keep up with everything that she was dropping. But look, y'all, I'm going to make sure that it's all included in the bio. I'm going to make sure that it's all put out there for you, so it's no excuse as to why. I definitely, in everything that she talked about, and even in listening back, I know it's probably even going to be something that I need. So that's just another reason for me to tap back in and follow up with you. But I know it's something out there for everybody, or even just some knowledge that you could gain, just another resource. You may be even working towards some of the same things that she's working towards. So definitely plug in, tap in. And Miss T, I definitely appreciate you. I definitely am looking forward to, everything. Wishing you the best of luck with everything as well. But I thank you. I thank you for not only connecting with me and really just, I feel like we really got down to business today. I feel like we really talked about a lot. I definitely feel like I do
Yes,
got
I
to know you.
agree.
Yeah, I definitely do feel like I got to know you a lot more, and I definitely am excited to tap in with you. I want to give another big shout out to Hugo just for plugging us in, and definitely that's really somebody to tap in and be on the lookout for, because he does a lot just the same. And as always, I definitely will be remiss if I didn't shout out, my listeners, everybody who's been showing me love, everybody who continues to allow the podcast to progress and to elevate. So thank you all. This has been another episode of the Down to Business podcast here with Tamar Turner.